Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you around our homestead, show you what we have and how little space we have, but how many animals we could fit in here. So come with me, let's go. Alright, let's start with the rabbits. We have 6 breeding stock, so 3 bucks and 3 does here. And we have only 1 buck and 1 doe in each of our enclosures. We use deep litter, so we don't have to change the litter very often. And this is our not so white New Zealand. I think she has delivered in that burrow, so they can dig, and the buck must be down there, and the litter as well, I suspect. Here we have another duo and 5 little ones. The one is sitting there on the hay where she's not supposed to. And they can also dig. They had a tunnel, but they closed it up, which is what they usually do after each litter. They close it up. And then here we have a big mama who is not delivered in a while, so we're gonna give her another chance with a new buck, and if that doesn't work out, we'll replace her. But they have the biggest one. We're gonna ultimately cut this guy in half here, so we have an extra hutch for grow outs if we have a separate buck or whatever. But that's our rabbitry here. And then in here we have our egg layers. So here we have about, I want to say 35 birds or so. They have, well, actually more now because we released the incubated ones. But we have 2 stationary coops here. That in retrospect was a mistake. I wish we had built everything based on mobile infrastructure, but we didn't. So we have 2 coops or hen houses here with a watering system that's connected to a hose, so we don't have to worry about refilling anything. And they have that whole area here. See, they're dust bathing back there now. Converted the playground into the rooster. Yeah, he grew balls lately, so he's gotten a little bit more more protective. Come, off you go. Off you go, off you go, off you go. All right. And so here we have a flock that we incubated from 24 eggs and like 60% roosters, unfortunately, so some of them will have to go. But they're in here, they're in mobile infrastructure, but we just started letting them out today. This is one of the mixes. It's a Americana something mix, I don't even know. So those are all the new ones. And we kept them in this mobile tractor here for a while, but today they got released. I'm hoping they go back in the evening and don't sleep outside. And behind us we have our meat birds. We've 30 meat birds. At least we got 30. I hope we still have 30. And 2 geese that are the bodyguards basically. Because those meat birds, even though they're not Cornish cross, they are fat, not very athletic, so there is no way of them running away if a hawk comes in. They just sit there, I guess. And that's why we have the geese, to make sure they stay safe. And yeah, they are taking their job seriously. And at night we actually keep them in this Justin Rhodes inspired mobile tractor, so we can move that around. It has an open floor so that all the poop goes down, and we just moved it every single day to spread the manure and not mess up the pasture too much. All right, let's keep going. River, he's our 2-year-old, little bit over 2-year German Shepherd. Very good boy, very good boy. Oh, he's a good boy, he's a good boy. Yeah, so he is a herding dog and he likes to, well, especially herd the little bunnies. He does very well, huh? He does very well. He likes his meat and bones and organs, much like I do. And here you can see probably one of our bees. We're gonna go to the bees then in a little bit. But I've noticed they started, really believe it, they're gonna sting your nose. They're all over the clover now. They ignored the clover for the most part, maybe because there was no nectar in them, but now they're all over it. And here we have 5 of our grow outs, so we move all of the bunnies once they are maybe 8 weeks or so, and they stopped drinking milk. They're weaned basically. We moved them to a mobile tractor for a couple of reasons. A, because it reduces the manure load in the hutch. They mow the grass and they fertilize at the same time with their poop. So we move that every single day. Water here in a bucket, gravity fed. We offer them, free choice pellets, but they also do eat a lot of grass. And so that's one of our tractors, and the second one we're gonna go to now. And this is our goldenrod here. We planted 2 years ago for the bees, so they have some more food in fall. It obviously not gonna make a huge dent because we have way more bees than can be fed by that little row here of goldenrod, but nonetheless. And here we have a litter of 8, and you can kind of see already the difference between where they have not been or not in a while and where they have recently been. So they're doing a good job of mowing and fertilizing and growing. Ain't that right? And they are warm, but this is a reflective roofing, so we opted for metal instead of plastic, because under plastic it heats up even more. The metal reflects most of the sunlight, so it stays a little cooler down here, but it's probably still fairly warm. But yeah, they have plenty of fresh water to cool down. Our raspberries here and elderberries. Raspberries have been doing incredibly well this year after pruning them, having pruned them in winter. So we are collecting like 2 big bowls of raspberries every single day. And here, this is some of the, I guess, our extra storage, because we are on a residential lot here. Really, it's just an acre and a quarter. And we do have a shed, but it's full already. So here we have our chicken feed, 2 pallets. We typically buy by the ton or 2 tons. Here we have all of our mills, our saws, and then in here we have our turkey shelter, turkey show, also Justin Rhodes inspired. We're gonna get turkeys for the first time next week. Well, by the time you watch this video, we probably already have them or had them. But we're growing 10 turkeys, slower growing turkeys, for Thanksgiving, and this is gonna be their shelter. So we'll move this down next week then, or so, once they arrive. We actually have a 3rd pallet of chicken feed in the garage. So we have the starter feed, the grower feed, as well as then the layer feed. So all those 3 we have, and unfortunately don't really have space. This part of the lawn we haven't touched with animals yet. But over here we had the meat birds. Since we ran out of space, so we are trying to leverage every single nook and cranny that we have on this small plot to raise animals. Here we have our beehives. They are doing incredibly well this year. We just harvested 2 full supers, meaning boxes full of honey. There is a 3rd, 4th and 5th, 6th actually still in the works, so we'll probably have a ton of honey this year. I really like this because they're easy to raise. We don't use any chemicals, we don't treat, we don't do mite treatments, and all of the things that most beekeepers do that then ends up in some shape or form in the honey. We don't want that, so it's pure honey. If a hive dies, for whatever reason, because there are too many mites and they're not strong enough, we let them die, survival of the fittest, leading ultimately to the best product possible, and that's what we're trying to do here with everything. Here we have our small veggie garden. We are not huge plant eaters, but we do eat some strawberries. You saw the raspberries already. We have cucumbers, we have tomatoes, we have melon and watermelon. We have, I think, sunflowers back there, some herbs, some of the stuff, that sweet potatoes here, some of the things that we do eat on a regular basis, we have over here. And this little spot here, you can see we mow, or we try to at least. This is kind of like ours. My wife likes to keep it clean without chicken poop and stuff, but everything else, and you can see, this lawn used to be just Bermuda, monocrop, monoculture, and it has turned into really a pasture. It's not quite there where we would like it to be, but you can already see a lot of different plants growing, a variety of grasses, and that's all because of, rotating chickens through it, running the rabbits over it, fertilizing, depositing manure, and just letting it do its thing. And I really love that. And then we have fruit trees here. We have a fig tree in the back, and then we have 2 apple and 2 pears that we hopefully gonna bear fruits next year. So we'll see, but they're doing fairly well. And yeah, that's it. We are on an acre and a quarter in total. but actual space for animals and for the veggie garden is probably less than an acre. And you know, we have 100 birds right now, including the 2 geese. We have about 30 rabbits. We have the 3 beehives. We have the meat birds over there that are part of the 100, you know, birds that I mentioned. And then we're gonna get turkeys next year, but by that time the meat birds are already gone. They're gonna go to the freezer in a few days. It's pushing it, but you can see you can actually raise a lot of protein, a lot of calories on a fairly small homestead, you know, by rotationally grazing them or moving them along, giving, you know, the grass some rest, and then just rinsing and repeating. And it's super fun. It's rewarding. It's challenging and time consuming, but totally worth it. So try it out. Let us know in the comments how you raise your protein, your animals, your veggies, how much space you have, what challenges you've run into. Always love to hear it, so we can take some of those tips and tricks and apply it here. Until next time.